Yo, what's up guys, Wakozy here, back with another Honkai Star Rail video. Xuan, the head of the Divination Commission, is finally available in the game. In a world where uncertainty reigns, Xuan stands as a beacon of hope because she possesses the extraordinary ability to see into the future itself. Being the first limited character that follows the path of preservation, Xuan brings a new and unique playstyle to Star Rail that most certainly makes her stand out against the other preservation characters. In this guide we will go over her talents, her Eidolons, her best light cons and relics, and finally team composition. By the end of the guide you should have a fairly solid understanding when it comes to the head of the Divination Commission. So let us get into it.
Honored guest, would you like to know your fortune?
Xuan brings a completely new playstyle to Star Rail by redirecting some of the damage your characters take to herself. On top of that, she has the ability to heal, and she can even increase the damage your characters do. When it comes to Xuan's basic attack, it deals some quantum damage, and it entirely scales off HP. This principle remains true for all of her abilities. She scales entirely off HP, and as such, attack is completely useless on Xuan. Xuan's skill, known by stars shown by hearts, activates the matrix of prescience. Whenever the matrix is active, 65% of the damage your other characters take is redirected to Xuan for 3 turns. Additionally, Xuan increases the HP of your other characters by 6% and their crit rate by 12%. These two buffs are always active as long as her skill is active, and as such, she provides a significant boost to your HP as well as your crit rate. 12% is a lot. Of course, with the nature of her skill, it should be fairly easy to understand that eventually, even though she is reducing the damage your entire team takes, you are still going to die. Well, technically you do, practically you do not, because Xuan still provides healing. So let us now talk about her ultimate as well as one of her traces. Her ultimate will deal quantum damage based on her max HP, and it will grant 1 charge to her talent. We will talk about her talent in a moment, but for now let us focus on her traces. Her second trace, Dunja the Meta-Mystic, will heal your entire team by 5% of Xuan's max HP plus 133 HP whenever you use her ultimate. This makes her ultimate an essential part of her kit, as it is her only way of providing healing to your team. Now let us talk about her talent. First of all, her talent is active as long as Xuan is alive. So technically it is always active, because if she dies, your team most likely is going to die as well. What it does is that it reduces the damage your characters take by up to 18%, depending on the level of your talent. On top of that, every single time Xuan falls below 50%, she gets healed by up to 90% HP, scaling with the HP she is currently missing. This has charges, so if you run out of charges, you won't trigger this aspect. But it brings us back to her ultimate, because whenever you use that, Xuan gains 1 charge, up to 2 charges. As such, we have a very basic gameplay rotation. Use her skill in order to redirect some of the damage your characters take, and use her ultimate to heal. Everything besides that works passively, as simple as that. But of course we have 2 more traces that we should talk about, as well as her technique. First off, her technique is super simple. Whenever you activate it, opponents can't attack you, or rather, they don't trigger combat when they attack you. This effect is active for 20 seconds, and if you decide to initiate combat yourself while her technique is active, you get Matrix of Prescience, her skill, for free. So a fairly good technique. When it comes to her remaining traces, we have the first trace you unlock while leveling up Xuan. This one gives you 20 extra energy whenever you use Xuan's skill while it is still active. With that, her basic gameplay loop turns into a every 3rd turn I use her skill, because you know, her skill is active for 3 turns. As simple as that. And lastly, we have trace number 3. This one allows your characters to resist crowd control debuffs once per skill usage. Crowd control, or CC, are debuffs that stop you from using your character, so freeze for example. Other than that, we only have her normal traces. They increase her HP, her crit rate, as well as effect resistance. And with that, we are done with her talent, so let us now talk about her Eidolons.
Allow me to make a divination.
Eidolon 1 gives you 30% crit damage on top of the crit rate buff we already have. We already talked about that, right? Whenever your skill is active you get crit rate. Well, now you get crit damage as well. In my opinion, a really good Eidolon. Eidolon 2 is more or less a sheet death. If any of your characters die while your skill is active, they revive with 70% HP. Though this only works once per battle, so keep that in mind. Eidolon 3 and 5 do the same as they always do, so not a whole lot to talk about here. Eidolon 4 gives you energy regeneration. Whenever a character gets attacked, Xuan gains 5 energy. while her skill is active. You can see a clear pattern here. All of her Eidolons work whenever her skill is active. So pay attention to that, right? And lastly, Eidolon 6 increases the damage Xuan does with her ultimate. It works by accumulating a portion of the damage your team takes. Once you use your ultimate, this portion is doubled and then added to your ultimate as damage. After that, it resets. One caveat here is that the accumulated amount cannot be more than 120% of Xuan's max HP. Nonetheless, it adds a lot of damage because a really good build Xuan can have more than 8000 HP. Alright, next up we have her light cones and her relics.
Hesitation only breeds chaos.
When it comes to her light cones, we are kinda limited, because most of the preservation light cones increase your death rating, and Xuan wants to have HP, so that is a problem. Thankfully, there are at least 2 5-star light cones and 2 4-star light cones you can use. Of course, you can also use the other ones, but the ones I'm going to mention now are the best options for our little fortune teller. First up, we have her signature light cone. She already shut her eyes. This one gives you everything you want to have on Xuan. It gives her max HP, energy recharge, it increases the damage your team does, as well as some healing. Simply said, it is a beast. If you have it, use it. But there's also a free-to-play 5-star light cone you can use. You can even get all the superimpositions for that one. So it is a light cone that is on par with her signature weapon. The light cone I'm referring to is Texture of Memories. This one comes from the simulated universe, so you might be able to buy it right now. If not, do your weekly clears and you will eventually get it. It gives you effect resistance, it gives you a shield and damage reduction on top of that. So it is a really good option. What else can I say about it? I don't know. It looks cool, I guess. There's a big tree in the middle of it, so yeah, go and get it. Next up we have 2 4-star options. First is Landau's Choice. This one makes Xuan more likely to be attacked, but it also reduces the damage she takes. As such, it kinda turns her into a tank. The next light cone is once again a free-to-play option. It comes from the Memory of Chaos and you can buy it over and over again, as long as you have the currency for it. It increases the damage of your characters and it also restores some HP. Keep in mind though that the damage increase is only active for 5 turns. Either way, it is a good option. Which is fairly interesting because 2 of the best light cones for Xuan are free to play, so she is fairly free to play friendly, especially because building her is not that difficult. All you need is HP, so as such, let us now take a look at her relics.
Just as I thought.
First of all, when it comes to the stats you want to have, just follow the basic infographic you can see on the screen right now. I will not go into too much detail here. What I'm going to talk about instead are set recommendations as well as specific scenarios when it comes to that. When it comes to the stats themselves, HP is all I'm going to say. Regarding the sets, there are 3 options you can choose from. Generally speaking, you want to have a combination of 2 2-set bonuses. The first set is the Disciple set. You always want to have the 12% HP increase. Of course, the 4-set bonus is kinda useless on Xuan because she is a support character. As such, we need another 2-set bonus. The options here are Guard of Withering Snow, which gives you 8% damage reduction, or the Hacker Space set, which gives you a speed bonus. It is entirely up to you what you have, how your relics rolled, and so on. Next up, we have her accessories. You can use the Broken Keel set, you can use the Fleet of Ages, or you can use the sprightly Vonvek. Not entirely sure on how to pronounce that one. Either way, all of them are really good. Depending on your decision, you need to adjust your relics. For example, if you use a fleet set, you need to reach at least 120 speed in order to activate the 8% attack bonus. You can easily do that by equipping speed boots. If you're using the Broken Keel set on the other hand, you need to reach 30% effect resistance, which is fairly easy to reach if you're using the free-to-play Lightstar Cone, the 5-star one. As you can see, this section entirely depends on what you prefer. Personally, I went for the Broken Keel set with a combination of the Disciple set and the Guard set, but that is just as good as any other combination. Just choose for yourself. Alright, lastly, let us now talk about team composition. After that, we can quickly talk about what I think about her, is she any good or not, and then we are done with the guide.
One's hexachromatic position is always in flux. Planning is paramount.
First and foremost, we need to keep Xuan's abilities in mind. She gives you crit rate and crit damage, if you have her first Eidolon of course. So we technically need characters that want to have those stats. Characters that come to mind are Sealy, Blade, Danhang, Jingyuan, basically any character that doesn't do damage over time. You can use her with all of them. On top of that, she is a quantum character, so this allows us to use her in combination with Silverwolf in almost any team composition. because now you have access to double quantum, double wind, or double quantum and double imaginary, or even quantum mono. It is up to you, it depends on what characters you have. But generally speaking, in order to make it as simple as possible, you can use her in any team composition, except for maybe damage over time teams, as long as you want to make use of her crit rate and crit damage buff. If not, then go ahead and use her with Kafka, Sampo and whoever else comes to mind. So, what do I think about Xuan? Is she worth pulling? Well, the answer to that is a simple yes. She has a unique kit, her playstyle with redirecting damage is fairly interesting, and she also opens up a lot of team compositions that you couldn't use before, especially if you have Silverwolf. Because now, with how Silverwolf works, it makes it much easier to apply the type of weakness to your opponents that you want to have. Because believe me, nothing is more infuriating than to use Silverwolf's skill in order to, let's say, apply quantum weakness to your opponents, but all you get is physical weakness because you have a Natasha in your team. Well, with Xuan, that no longer is a problem. So I guess Natasha, in my case at least, is gonna get benched for quite a while. Either way, this is the end of the guide. Xuan is an amazing character and I hope you feel the same way. If the guide was helpful in any way, then leave a like, a comment, a sub, all of that stuff. Help me when it comes to defeating that evil YouTube algorithm. Other than that, thanks for watching and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.